Okay, this is the seating before I reupholstered the cushions. With the work I was doing to the inside of the camper, there was just no way the old upholstery was going to work. So, with the new decor, besides all these stripes and all this stuff, is just, I mean, it's not very versatile with decor and stuff, and I didn't care as much for it. So, I went online and found some cheap fabric. It was a tweed fabric. It was a tweed fabric, kind of retro and heavy fabric, cheap, and got all the upholstery off the covers off the cushions. There you see the bare foam, and so there's my roll of fabric. I got it on eBay, really cheap, maybe $50 or something like that for all the fabric. And I got some heavy duty, the all the heavy duty thread, and all of the foam was in pretty good condition. So I was just preparing to start measuring the fabric. I wanted to lay out the fabric and measure and try to be as accurate as possible. That's the most important thing. This goes in here. Okay. You see, I just have to get these loose. And I usually use this. What I'm going to use is, I'll take this. It's hard to do it with two hands. I'll just take this and get a hold of this, and I'll pull it off the hook. So, sometimes you just have to rip. Now I've got all of the fabric. Here's the fabric, and I got it all off of the cushions. See what I did? I wanted to expand this center cushion, make it bigger, so I got this. I'm going to just show this stuff to you. This is trim adhesive. This is what you do car headliners with. And I did headliners in a couple of my cars. Okay, now here I've got the fabric laid out, and I've used duct tape to tape it to the floor, and I even used an iron to iron it out. Here it is, some of the fabric marked with the shape of the upholstery. I tried to make the upholstery just barely smaller than the foam, so it would stretch well and stretch around the foam. So even then, it still needs some leeway. So it was just that's the most important part of it. Upholstery here, except for one. I wanted to show you all. I'm going to get my tape measure and make sure it's all square. Make sure it's like 7 inches this way. It's 7 inches down this way too. Some of this fabric, I made it an option to where you can make it curved or make the corners straight. Some of these corners I'm debating or look a little rounded, so maybe I should make the rounded corners. Anyway, it's a 1/2 inch seam allowance, so that'll be the inside of the seam, and I'll just make sure this is only one side of the fabric, and I'll make a duplicate reverse for the other side of the fabric, and that's why Okay, now I've cut out the pieces, and I'm laying them over the foam just to test the size to make sure that they're all going to fit okay, and you have like a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Here I am using the fabric and cutting out all the pieces there, so that's what I'm doing. It's the most tedious part of it. Here I am at the sewing machine with all my supplies laid out. So you can see in the background there's my gold thread. It's heavy duty thread. And there's a big roll of thread. You can see that right in front of the sewing machine is this huge roll of thread. Again, I've traced out. I've got 2 of these for each of my panels here. This is the reupholstering the seats in the truck camper. Okay, let's see, and I made it a 1/2 inch. My 1/2 inch seam allowance. That's on the outside of the seam, and this is where the seam's going to be. So I cut all this out, laid it on the floor, made it straight. But if I cut the cord fabric, I'm going to have to cut it diagonal because it'll stretch. If I can do it here, I will. You see when it's on the diagonal. See how it stretches when you're at the diagonal? Now you cut it straight. You pull it straight and you try to stretch it, it won't move. That's because it'll stretch easier when it's on the diagonal. So this is my upholstery. Here, hold on just a minute. Okay, here's what it's going to look like. There's my fabric. I like my choice of fabric, so just wanted to show you all. So along the bottom there. Okay, see you all later. And there's my fabric update of my upholstering the truck camper seats. Okay, here is a new cushion that has been made. Turn them inside out and make them on the inside out so that I can sew along the seam allowance. You can see I've got you sew around the edges and make sure there's no gaps or puckers or anything like that in the fabric. So here's a freshly made cushion, and I used a piping around the edges. I wanted it to be nice. I wanted it to be nice high-end fabric. There's the first cushion I made installed in place. You see it? It's at a diagonal. The end is at a diagonal. So I wanted to show you all my dinette couch is finished. I might want to tighten up the fabric on this one. It's not completely finished because I have to do the button tufting. That hasn't been done, but basically it's mostly done for the most part. So just wanted to show you that's what it's supposed to look like. And it actually turned out pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it came out mostly like I thought it would. Let me get in the cab over. You can see that this fabric gets a little wrinkled because it's a little loose on there. Yeah, I'm laying in my bed. This is what the dinette looks like. Or it's a couch, not a dinette anymore. It's like a sofa. I've extended it, made it deeper, so it's more like a sofa. So most of my interior, my truck camper's finished. I've got I can sit here. I can sit here in Indian style. That's a good thing. You know, I've got my glassware in here. I want to show you. Containers to put stuff in. All of these up in here are my little spice shakers. So it's a little messy here, but this is going to be perfect sleeping weather. So, and you always have silky pillows with like tweed fabric, so that's what you have, you know, supposed to have. That works the best. I'm going to take this one in the house and maybe try to tighten it up a little bit. Okay, now I am marking the spots for my upholstery tufting. You can see I've got the spaces marked for the tufting of the upholstery. Thinking, okay. And I'm going to have to move this over a little bit. They're not exactly on the same spots. I just wanted to let you know that I've got the little buttons fixed. Okay, now, these are the front covered buttons, and I used a hot glue gun to make sure these don't come off. The back sides aren't going to match exactly. They're going to be a little different. Here's my twine. So, this is my tufting needle. It's dangerous. It's a tufting needle. You can kill yourself with that thing. So, yeah. These are the ones that go on the back side. So I just took a towel and wrapped those last three, front and back. I've got these. I'm going to do some tufting, shall I? Okay, the next step is to cut each of these twines. Cut this twine into 19. That's right, 19 individual strands, 20 inches apiece. And then I'll show you how I'm going to do it. Here's my finished result over there. You may not be able to see it. First step, when you pull it through with the big needle, you tie the square knot and you You just put this through it, square knot, put this through it. Step 2, after you tightened it up, and it'll form like a slip knot, and then this is a slip knot, this is going to be your square knot. You left over right, square knot, and then right over left, and then after that, you've got it all tightened down, and then you just do your final square knot, and you tie it off, and you cut the strings off. Okay, here is my dinette converted to a couch. The middle section, I deepened it so you could sit further back in the seat like a real couch. Okay, I'm going to do the custom closet. That's the next thing I'm going to do. And I just didn't have enough storage space in the closet. It just had a simple hanging closet. I needed more pantry space because I had, the overhead kitchen cabinets was just enough to hold my, dishes, but I needed a pantry. So I wanted to create a pantry plus and also a place to store jugs of water, and there you can see the inside of the closet. Just a simple hanging closet is all it is, to hang up clothes in there. So I had some wood left over from the man that shall not be named, wood left over, and the center divider is in place, just a test fit, and the runner on the bottom, the board on the bottom is bolted in so it can sit against that board, and then when I get the shelves in, it won't move or go anywhere. So I'm just measuring everything, got all my supplies out, being worked with, and I'm adding the boards on the stringers on the sides that the shelves will rest on. That's the shelf holders on both sides without the dividers in, and the dividers are always going to be removable. You can even now take the dividers out of it. So, and there's the centerpiece in there with the dividers in there, and you just lay the shelves in place. The shelves just lay in place where they're supposed to be, and they won't go anywhere. There's the first shelf in place, as you can see. Okay, and that's going to be the top shelf of the pantry on the left. There's the second shelf in place for the pantry. Those 3 shelves, 3 levels is the pantry for food and stuff. I needed pantry space, so I really had places. I had a place to put my dishes, but no real pantry. So now I have a pantry. And there you can see out on the right, I can either hang clothes in it, or I can use it to store big jugs of water in there. So you can convert the right side to be a hanging closet, or be, just a double shelf for large gallons or large packages of ramen noodle soup or whatever on the right. And okay, the next thing. Okay, now I am going to be installing. This is an electrical outlet, a 12-volt outlet, like a cigarette lighter. And on the other side I have this. I'm going to do a formal review on this product, so it looks very convenient. And I've decided to put this outlet here. There's a divider between these 2 cabinets, so I'm going to drill a hole through there. I'm going to connect it to this outlet. This half of the camper is on one 15-amp fuse, and this half is ran off another fuse. So what I'm going to do is drill the holes like that, and then I'm going to use this big one to fit these things through. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, now I have wired this together, and I have drilled a hole through this. It comes out here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and switch to this big adapter here, so I can go ahead and put this in here. Okay. I'll do a review on this product. Okay, now here is the wires coming through, and here is my device. I'm simply going to put this in here and hook it up to these clamps. They just push right up onto the backs of these things. And so it's running off of this light here that's reinstalled. So again, I want to show you, I'm going to put these 4 screws in the corners of this thing. And so this is my little outlets. So here I am. I can charge my phone. I can also use the cigarette lighter style. So, again, it's running off of this light switch. This half of the camper is on one 12-volt fuse. Where's your... Okay, this is the wall light where the TV is going to go. I'm going to take the wall light off and move it over and eventually get rid of the wall light entirely. Okay, now I'm going to skip through and show you the bracket. I added a board on the wall for strength, and then I put the TV bracket on the wall, and there is the finished product, the TV itself on the swivel. And so that is your finished product, and there's the room with the new upholstery and the television. Like, share, subscribe, join the revolution. And I will see you in number 11.